I was raised in the Church of England, and in the sort of fairly typical way, I lost my faith when I was at university. Um, the world was just so full of distractions, and I was just being pulled one way and the other. And it was only throughout the course of my 20s, I became more and more aware of a sort of just this gap, a gap in sort of meaning, really. I realized I drastically lowered my expectations of life. I didn't really expect to be um, happy in work, didn't really expect to have anything sort of more meaningful to do with my time than to just sort of go to the pub and have, see my friends. And I was actively trying to sort of suppress any higher aspiration for what life could be. And in becoming aware of that sort of gap, I felt a sort of a call back to something I'd had before and sort of put to one side. There was just an awareness of a pull from somewhere that brought me back to revisit the faith that I'd sort of discarded quite casually. I started going back to church, and at one point, a few years further on, I was just having a conversation with a priest one day, an Anglican priest, and he made a sort of throwaway comment about how I might think about the priesthood. And I awoke the next morning with this tremendous sense of joy, which I couldn't sort of quite put my finger on for a moment. Why did I feel so good this morning? And I looked back over what had happened the day before. What jumped out to me was the moment that the priest said that. Suddenly, a whole load of different parts of my life seemed to suddenly click into place. And so I started making inquiries with my Anglican diocese. I never doubted the call to priesthood from that moment. I came to feel some doubts about the church I was a part of. And so I had to make a rather drastic adjustment and become a Catholic. And it was in large part the spur that moved me to that was this feeling that God was calling me to some incredibly radical form of life, something all-consuming that would take up every part of me and transform me. That was the Catholic priesthood, and there was no way around it, really. And there's nowhere else where I can justifiably be.